My name is Lance Howard, life coach, author, recording artist, and ancient wisdom translator, and this is a new video series titled, What is God? In my latest book, Bible Redefined, and the book of Yasharal, I write about how religion has kept us distracted and deluded with the question, who is God, rather than focusing on something that is far more beneficial, what is God? My book and this series are for those who have the courage to wrestle with God, the idea, the notion, the concept, the beingness. If you think you already know all the answers or want to argue for the religious or typical Western model of God, my work is not for you. When understood without bias, the ancient Eastern languages have already disproved the Western religious model. That is a way of saying, when you actually understand the messages in the Bible as they were originally intended through the ancient Semitic languages in which it was originally written, the religious model does not hold up. The Bible refers to the nature and character of God, but never explicitly says who God is. It never once says, God is Jesus, nor does it ever say, Jesus is God. Jesus himself never said, I am God. It does say things that may imply the identity of God in personhood, and also specifically in the personhood of the man we call Jesus. But the conclusion we reach in the West is skewed by the level of consciousness we bring to the text through the English language and the matrices of our culture. The biblical text never explicitly says who God is, because God is not a person, though God is expressed through personhood. God cannot be confined to a singular personality in human form on this planet, but the human form does express God as the image of God, or the presence, or the likeness and expression of God. Jesus said, "It is written in your scriptures that you are gods." He also said, "The kingdom of God is within you." I explain in Bible Redefined that visions of God that describe human characteristics are actually apparitions of the sacred beingness, which we have called God. Our apparitions of the sacred beingness as it exists and arises from within the human form. This means we are allowed to recognize God as something that takes on our limited form, even though the beingness we call God is formless and limitless. We can say humans are gods, but we cannot say God is human. It is more like God expresses through humans as humans, but no one human form is the one and only form in which God expresses. Yet it is inevitable that some of us are more aware of our connection to the great beingness and therefore all of life. The ancient languages reveal the Messiah, another word for the Christ, is the eternal archetype, blueprint, or avatar, which is inseparable from sacred selfhood. This means Christ is the essence of what it means to be human and is the calling, the vision, the greatness that we are inevitably magnetized toward fulfilling. The person we call Jesus was the prophetic fulfillment of ancient prophecies as the archetype, the blueprint, the avatar on earth at a very specific and important time to spark an awakening at the quantum level, to unlock something in the human DNA. His presence activated the timeless inner wisdom, that the archetype is our true self, the core and essence of what it truly means to be human. The archetype is what we are here to remember and live out. The Christ is what we are here to remember and live out. The blueprint is what we are here to remember and live out. The Messiah is what we are here to remember and live out. I'd like to address one thing the Bible does say God is. It comes from John chapter 4, verse 24, the very first part of the verse. It says, God is spirit. My translation of those three words is this: the universal one is breath, wind, spirit, divine inspiration, pure energy, and pure mind, sacred intelligence. All living, breathing things, all of life, exist in and are inspired by the one breathing. This is sacred unity, unity in diversity. God. So as you can see, compared to my translation, the sentence God is Spirit is limited and very watered down. The ancient languages allow for so much more than that. Similarly, our limited translations have kept us bound to short-sighted religious expressions and understanding of the great beingness which we have so nonchalantly called God. The eternal presence and great intelligence we call God is the animating power that gives expression to our beingness, our existence, and our experience. The being, the existence, or the reality, God, is the source, the essence, and life we breathe. The artist breathes life into his or her artwork and in a synergistic way places something of his or herself into the art, therefore creating a small resemblance or expression of themselves. The art lives and breathes life into those who encounter it because the art does not simply come from the artist, but also expresses the artist. I'm saying that you and I are the artwork of God, and therefore we express God. We can inspire one another and thereby change the world. We don't always express God perfectly, but love is the greatest way we can express God if we truly understand what love is. We will talk about that more later in the series. If you've made it this far, here is perhaps the greatest revelation of what God is. The name of God was revealed to an old shepherd named Moses thousands of years ago. The name translates as I am that I am. If you rewatch this video and every time I say the word God, you replace it with I am, you'll be that much closer to understanding what God is. This is part 1 of the What is God series, which looks like it will have at least 4 parts. You can find my book, Bible Redefined, and the Book of Yasharal through my website at lancehoward.net.